From Southern California, welcome to the Hour of Power with musical guests Mary Opperman and Ellie Choate. And a special message from pastor and motivational speaker Willie Jolley entitled, You've Gotta Believe.
Well, if you came here this morning to hear Willie Jolley, you are in luck because it is a special day. Willie is, of course, one of the favorite speakers here for the Hour of Power. Willie, of course, is a world-renowned speaker, author, motivator, preacher, started as a jazz singer and came back from that to be where he is now, God using him to touch so many lives with the spoken word. Will you please give a warm welcome to Willie Jolley?
Good morning. This is the day the Lord has made, and we are grateful for it. I am so excited about another opportunity to be here at the Crystal Cathedral and to be a part of this morning's service. God bless you real good. Amen. Well, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, I can't refuse it. I didn't seek it, I didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but an eternity is in it. Greetings to everybody, and I want to say greetings not only to the people who are here in the Crystal Cathedral, but all the people around the world who watch the Hour of Power. I am so thankful for all the people who have sent us messages, Facebook, emails, Twitter, tweets, and those who have donated to jollygoodnews.org. I am so grateful so that we have met you as a result of being here at the Crystal Cathedral and on the Hour of Power, and I'm grateful. My bride is with me today. Last time I was here, she didn't come, and I was hurting, because, you know, I tell you, we're newlyweds. Yeah, June 28th, we'll celebrate 28 years of marriage. There she is right there. There she is. That's my bride. I told her, I said, if you leave me, I'm coming with you. Well, I am grateful to be back, and I'm grateful to all of you. I want to thank everybody for making us feel so at home, and we are grateful. First time I came, some months ago, I talked about how to handle the setbacks of life. And I talked about the problems and challenges that come with change. And so I took a message from my book, A Setback is a Setup for a Comeback. And the second time I came, I talked about how to live and dream the big dream. And to live the impossible dream and actually manifest that dream. And that was taken from my book, It Only Takes a Minute to Change Your Life. Today I want to talk to you about how to not just survive, but actually thrive in the midst of challenging and changing times. And that's taken from my book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, and how to get through the tough times and not just go through them, but grow through them and have greater success. And I believe that if you're going to do that, you've got to believe. You've got to believe that it's possible. All things are possible to them that believe. And so I'm going to give you 7 quick steps taken from the book that will help you take it to the next level. Because how many are ready to go to another level? Amen. I always like to say this. How many of you are ready for a really good year? All right, fantastic. How many of y'all need a real good decade? Well, praise the Lord. 7 steps for turning your setbacks into comebacks and eventually into greenbacks and go to the next step. Step number 1, don't panic. Whatever you do, don't panic. Panic is taken from the Greek word to choke. And when you panic, you choke off the air to your brain. Therefore, you cannot think clearly. And if you cannot think clearly when there's a decision to be made, you end up making a poor decision. In 1929, there was a stock market crash. People panicked. Some jumped out of buildings. Some took guns and blew out their brains, not realizing the market would come back bigger and better than ever. Folks, whatever you're going through, this too shall pass. You hear what I'm saying? This too shall pass. You've got to believe that. Look, Bible tells story after story of people who were faced with daunting challenges who didn't panic. Moses didn't panic when he was facing the Red Sea at his front and the Egyptians at his back. He didn't panic. Daniel, he didn't panic when he was thrown into the lion's den. The Hebrew boys didn't panic when they were thrown in the fiery furnace. David didn't panic when he was faced with a giant. Joseph didn't panic when he was thrown into a pit and came out and became part of the palace. No, Jesus did not panic when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane and he had to make a decision. And he said, I'm going to do your will. Not knowing that he would go on a cross and die and be confirmed dead. But 3 days later, he would rise with all power in his hand. And the world has never changed, had never been the same since he made that decision. Folks, don't panic. Don't panic when life gets tough, when things start to go crazy in your life. Don't let panic overtake you. Don't worry yourself into bad health. Worry is prayer for things you don't want. Don't worry. I love this piece of my setback setup for a comeback book. It says, when all is said and done, there are really only two things to worry about. Either you're well or you're sick. Now, if you're well, there's really nothing to worry about because as long as you're well, you can turn it around. And if you're sick, there are only two things to worry about. Either you're going to get well or you're going to die. Now, if you get well, there's really nothing to worry about. And if you die, there are only two things to worry about. Either you go to heaven or you go to hell. Now, if you go to heaven, hey, there's nothing to worry about. And if you go to hell, well, it's too late to worry now anyway. Look here. 2 Timothy 1:7 said, you were not given a spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. Everybody say, don't worry. All right, don't panic about it. Number 2, don't willingly participate nor commiserate. Don't buy into the gloom and doom. In tough times, people often will start to buy into the gloom and doom. They will hear all the bad news and they will take it and believe it. And they will live that bad news. No, you need some good news. That's why we got jollygoodnews.org. We want you to have good news. Look, you got to stop looking at the bad, but start to focus on the good. I travel a lot. And I often go into airports. Well, one day I was going to an airport. It was cold in the Washington area. It was frigid. And I didn't want to stand outside in the cold to check my luggage, so I went inside. But inside was this long line. I said, oh, no, I'll miss my flight. So I bundled back up, went back outside, found a sky cap, gave him a couple dollars. He quickly checked my bag, and I was on my way to my gate. As I'm going in the airport, I'm walking by that line, and about 3/4 in the line is this lady with this anxiety look on her face. I said, ma'am, what's wrong? She said, I've been in this line a long time. I asked her a simple question. Why are you in this line? She said, because everybody else is in the line. Folks, don't follow those people who are going the wrong way. Don't listen to all the gloom and doomers. Don't buy into all the bad news. One guy came up to me one day and said, hey, look, I hear you talk all that positive stuff on your radio show. You know, didn't you hear that Circuit City went out of business, that Linens and things went out of business? I said, really? He said, didn't you hear that unemployment is 10%? I said, 10%? He said, yes. I said, that means 90% of the people are still working. Focus on the good in life. Fill yourself up with the pure, the powerful, and the positive. Be excited about every day. Wake up in the morning and say, Lord, thank you for another day. This truly is the day the Lord has made. See, some people wake up and they say, good morning, Lord. And some people wake up and say, good Lord, it's morning. I encourage you to get up and be excited about life. Let me tell you something. Enthusiasm is contagious. So if you're enthusiastic, stuff starts to happen around you. Proverbs 12:25 says, anxiety in the heart of man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad. Give a good word to somebody. Say hello to people. I say hello to 10 people every morning. Every morning I wake up, I go out to the gym or I go wherever I've got to go. I say hello to 10 people. Now, some of the people say hello back. Some say, what's good about it? I say, good morning, good morning, good morning. They say, I still say good morning to at least 10 people. Many of them say nothing, and it's okay, because I'm not saying it for them. I'm saying it for me. Faith cometh by hearing. If I've heard good morning 10 times, I'm on my way to a good morning. I had a good morning, that leads me to a good afternoon. A good morning, good afternoon, it leads me to a good evening. A good morning, good afternoon, good evening leads me to a good day. I repeat that 7 times, I had a good week. Repeat that 4 more times, I had a good month. Repeat that month 12 times, I had a good year. It starts with every day just getting up and saying good morning. Turn to somebody near you and say good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Amen. Speak good in your life. Look. There was an Indian chief, there's an old Indian proverb that says a young boy came to the Indian chief and said, I've got these 2 dogs in me fighting, a good dog and a bad dog, a happy dog, a sad dog, a fearful dog, a faithful dog, a believing dog, a doubtful dog. Which one is going to win? And the wise Indian chief said, the one you feed the most. Feed your good dog. Feed the one that believes that this is the day that the Lord has made. Be excited. Number 3, don't let your pride poison your prosperity. Many times when we go through tough times, we let our pride get in the way. We got to get over letting our pride get in the way. Scripture says pride goes before destruction and a haughty spirit before a fall. I have a friend who was on my Sirius XM show. I interviewed him. He built a big, successful company in the 1970s, one of the biggest IT companies. And he did that, and it grew into this big company, hired the best and the brightest people. But then, in the 70s, as you might remember, there was a recession. We had to stand in line for gas, and things got uncomfortable. So he took his salary as a CEO and put it in the employee pool because he didn't want to fire or let go any of these great people he had hired. After about 6 months, his money dried up. He had to pay his bills. So what he would do every morning is go to work about 8 o'clock. He'd stay till about 6:30 or 7 in the evening. And then from 8 o'clock at night till midnight every night, he would drive a trash truck. He said, I drove a trash truck to get me through college. I can do it again. And he was able to keep all his people and survive that challenge. And he was able to get through it, and when he got through it, the money started coming back in, the recession started receding, and the economy came back. He was able to build that company, and he sold it for multiple millions. He said, if I hadn't done that then, I would not have been able to sell it at that point. I said, what do you say to people who say that it's beneath them to maybe go to Walmart and be a greeter or get a second job? He said, you tell those people to get over it, because if you don't let your pride get in the way, you can have great success. God says pride goes before destruction, but a haughty spirit before a fall. Number 4, don't stop thinking about the power and the possibilities of tomorrow. When you're going through a tough time, you might have lost your job, might have left your home, might have lost your loved one. You're going through a tough one. You might be going through a really tough time. You got to deal with the problem that you're dealing with right now. I don't know what it is. Keep one eye on that problem. You got to deal with it, but always keep one eye on your dream, on your goals, on what God has placed before you. Remember, without a vision, a people perish. But with a vision, a people will flourish. Keep one eye on the problem, but one eye on the possibilities. Keep that eye on your goals and dreams, because that will empower you and fire you up to keep going through the tough times. Philippians 4:8 said, finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of a good report, if there's any virtue and if there's anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. Think on the positive. Think on the good. You are blessed and highly favored because you are still here. So give God glory every day for being here. Give him glory every day. Number 5, be proactive. Be proactive. A couple years ago, I had the honor to be on tour in Australia with Stephen Covey. He passed away last year, but a wonderful man, wrote a book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And we were on tour in Australia, had a great time. He wrote the foreword for my latest book, Attitude of Excellence, and I'm very grateful he did that. But he popularized this term, be proactive. And what does be proactive really mean? It means don't wait for your ship to come in. Swim out to it. I'm encouraging you to take action, to go out and do it. My mama called it being up and doing. Be active. Go about your dreams and goals. Start working on them. Don't wait for things to happen. Make things happen. Proverbs 10:4 says, he who has a slack hand becomes poor, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. I'm encouraging you to take action and be proactive. Number 6, be creative. Be creative. You've got to be creative. They say it in the business world, think outside the box. You've got to be creative. I love the story about a shoe shine guy in deep south in a small little southern town. He was really good. And he had a problem, though, because people in that town only got their shoes shined and wore nice shoes on Sunday. So there wasn't enough business. So he said, I'm going to go to New York City where people dress up every day and wear fancy shoes every day. So he went to New York City. Anybody ever been to New York City? You know, there's shoe shine men on every corner. Competition is fierce. So he set up his little shoe shine stand. One day, a busy executive was walking out of his office to a meeting. He goes by the first shoe shine guy. The shoe shine guy says, hey, let me shine your shoes. I need to pay my rent. He said, no, I don't have time for that. He went by the second one. Hey, let me shine your shoes. I need to get some lunch. I don't have time for that one. Third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one. Finally, he gets to this creative shoe shine man who's standing out in front of his stand and saying 97, 98, 99, 100. He said, excuse me, sir, today is my birthday, and I'm grateful for another birthday, and I promised this morning that the 100th person who comes by my stand would get a free shoe shine. Please allow me the opportunity to give you a free shoe shine. The busy executive was taken aback. Wow. He sat in the chair. The young man went to work on his shoes. He shined those shoes like they had never been shined before. That executive said, that's the best shoe shine I've ever had. Give me a bunch of your business cards. I'm going to tell everybody I know about you. The young man said, thank you, sir. The busy executive starts walking off. He said, oh, your birthday. How much do you usually charge? He said, $5. Busy executive said, here, happy birthday. Gave him a $100 bill. The young man, and the executive walked off. The young man looked at that bill and looked up to the heavens and said, 97, 98, 99. Folks, you've got to be creative. You've got to be creative and be excellent. Excellence is the key to success. God says for us to be excellent in all that we do. Do more than we expected. Go further than we expected. Give more than we expected. I tell my son, who recently became a lawyer, I said, if they pay you $1, give them $2 worth of work. If you're supposed to be there at 8 o'clock, be there at 7:45. If you're supposed to work till 5 o'clock straight, work till 5:15. Do more than you expected. It'll pay the path for you. Be creative and be excellent. Number 7, be prayerful. Be prayerful. When you're going through tough times, be prayerful. Now, folks, I got to tell you a secret. That's actually number 1. But I purposely put it to number 7 because I found too many people of faith, Christians, who pray and do nothing else. They pray and do nothing else. I had a lady, I said this not long ago, she sent me a note, email said, you were so right. I prayed, but I never acted. My Bible tells me, though, folks, faith without works is dead. In James 2:20, faith without works is dead. So we must pray, then take action. We must pray like it all depends on God and work like it all depends on us. I'm saying to you that we must pray and act. The Chinese have a proverb that says, he who waits for roasted duck to fly into his mouth waits a long time. So I'm encouraging you to take action, to move on your dreams and goals. You got to believe. We all know about the story of a little girl named Dorothy from a place called Kansas, called the Wizard of Oz. And Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, she wanted to get back home after she got off track. She was in a difficult situation. She went along this yellow brick road, and found a scarecrow. He didn't have a brain. She said, come on, go with me. She found a little further down the road a tin man who didn't have a heart, so he couldn't believe in his dreams. She said, come on, go with me. And a little further down the road, she found a cowardly lion who didn't have any courage. You got to have courage to live your dreams. You got to believe that it's possible. She said, come on and go with me. And they got to Wizard only to find out he was a fake. But they didn't give up. And a good fairy godmother came and said, you had everything you needed. Have faith, focus, and follow through. Click your heels 3 times. Faith to believe that it's possible. Focus on your goals and dreams. And then take follow through, action. And she clicked her heels 3 times. And she went home. I'm encouraging you to believe. My friend, the great pastor and preacher, Louis Shockley, shared a story with me about a father who worked 3 jobs to take care of his 8 children. He'd work from sunup to sundown. One day on his way home from the last job, he was dead tired. He got near the house, and in the distance he saw fire engines. He ran up to the house, and the house was on fire. There was confusion everywhere. He found his wife. He said, are all the children here? She said, yes, I think so. They lined up the children. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Line them up again. Come on, everybody, get together. And they did it again. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And she said, where's Jimmy? And he said, where's Jimmy? And in the attic of the house, a little voice called out, Daddy, help! And in the attic window was a little boy named Jimmy. The father went to run in the house, but the fireman stopped him at the door and said, the first floor is already gone. We're waiting for the hook and ladder truck to get here. We hope it gets here before the fire gets to the attic. But we're not sure. It's on the other side of town. And the little boy said, Daddy, help! And the father said, Jimmy, jump, Jimmy, jump. But Daddy, I can't see you. The smoke's in my eyes. I'm afraid. I don't know what to do. The father said, Jimmy, jump. Trust me. You gotta believe, Jimmy. You gotta believe. And the little boy believed in the voice of his father. And he jumped. And the father caught him in his arms. I'm saying to you, folks, you might be going through tough times, but you gotta believe. You gotta jump when God gives you a call to do something big and bold. It might seem impossible, but you gotta believe. You gotta believe. You gotta believe. If you believe within your heart, you'll know that no one can choose the path that you must go. Believe what you feel, because it's real. Because the time will come around when you'll know it's yours. Believe you can go home. Believe you can float on air and click your heels 3 times if you believe. Then you'll be there believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself, if you believe in yourself as God believes in you. Believe in yourself as I believe in you. You can believe and believe and believe as God believes in you. Believe in yourself as I believe in you. If you believe it and can conceive it, you can achieve it as God believes in you. Give God glory. Give God glory. Give our God the glory. You gotta believe.